What is up, everybody? I hope you guys have had a wonderful. It's only Tuesday? How the fuck have I been? I could have sort of got it was like Wednesday or Thursday. My God, I am. Yeah, I'm a little behind here. My bad. Um, Good lord. Yeah, I've been running errands left and right today, and yeah, I know. Everybody's all up in arms about the freaking you know elections. And the only thing I could say about that is this: I'm not political whatsoever, and I get chastised every time. And okay, I understand it. I understand why. But I've seen people fight. I've seen friendships lost. I've seen whatever bad could happen. I've seen it, and you know, it's to me, you're fighting over two liars just because of their overall, not necessarily moral, but their how they portray themselves, I guess you would say. You know, I don't align myself with any of the parties really because, like I said, I think they're all fucking liars. And the only thing that I really do have an opinion on, just because she came to our college campus and talked about the trial, was Roe versus Wade. And why they fucking changed that, I have. That is so stupid. You know, funny enough, Neil Tyson DeGrassi or Neil deGrasse Tyson, I always get him mixed around, but I love him. I love I love it when people talk about physics. It really, really interests me. Um, and the fact that I took analytical chemistry in college and then chemistry. Chemistry was a lot easier than analytical chemistry. Analytical chemistry is a fancy way of saying statistics. How much of this did you put in there? 0.0005 mg. Okay, so how much of this did you put in there? Man, I don't want to be messing around with these fluids that are going to kill me. I don't know. I don't. Screw this class. I quit. It was almost me. But no, he had talked about what if this was a woman-run political, landscape, and they came out and said, you know what, we're gonna tell men how they need to run their reproductive organs. I was like, that's a pretty damn good point. And even though I know there's women on the Supreme Court, they're well past their birthing age. And yes, there should be a separation between church and state. I don't know how many of them are religious, but for as many times as I've told you guys I'm religious, you know, yes, if they did it and they both can morally, financially, and provide stability, it's fucked up to get an abortion, but who am I to judge them? I'm nobody's judge, so I'm not going to be sitting there judging them. But in cases like incest and rape, I mean, my goodness. You're going to tell a woman that she has to birth that child and give it up for adoption? I mean, you sure as hell are not going to keep it. I don't think a lot of people would want to see, this beautiful baby that was made in such a horrible way. Yeah, it goes deep. It gets really, really deep. But, we're not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about that chapter. And somebody had wrote me earlier this week and told me, like, hey, did you hear about Mike? He's going to go to making one video, forever long, as ever long as it takes him. He wants to put, quality into it. I mean, his videos were already, freaking top notch to begin with. And I want to thank my fellow Irishmen. One of them had wrote me a message saying, it's good to hear that somebody else is giving Michael his props, and he said some words in Irish, and he's like, and now, that somebody else is doing that for him, I'm going to do you a favor and follow you. And thank you for that subscription. But I'll have you know that 50% of me is Irish, Scottish, and Welsh, which surprised the living shit out of me. My grandma was fairly light complected, and she did have blue eyes, which recently I found, and you can trace back to one ancestor, so incest much, but yeah, that surprised the living hell out of me. My dad's side of the family has roots from Africa, Puerto Rico, and then here, but my mom's side was, Mexico, Irish, Scottish, and Welsh. I was like, there's no fucking way. And sure as shit. So, even though I might not have the accent, to my fellow Irishmen, I think that's why I like Mike so much. Because he's a fellow Irishman. That's why I think I like my beaner so much. You know what? I could say that because a lot of people call me Big Beaner. I say it all in fun and love. I'm not going to say that about Irishmen because I don't look Irish. But I am, I have that in me. But people loved calling me Big Beaner. It was funny. Still is. I don't mind it. But I know some people get all up in arms about it. PC. Yes, I understand. But just sometimes you got to take that stick out of your ass and just, you know what? For a moment there, let's relive the 90s when we used to talk shit to our friends in ways that would just make this generation faint. Where they'll pretty much dance as close to naked as they can in front of a camera doing the same stupid moves over and over again, but yet be dumb as hell. Their opinions are way the fuck out there. They had I know on the streets on one of those like Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, one of those shows, they had a map up and like, hey, can you point to some countries? Nope, that's a continent. Nope, that's another continent. Yeah. I don't know what they're teaching them anymore. But let's get into that chapter. That's why we're here. I got a chance to listen to it, but I didn't get a chance to watch it. So I'm eager for this. So, without further ado, let's do this.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video we are going to Florida, yeah. Of course we are, because Florida is Florida. No. Where else, at this point? I've gotten over my shocked face when we are going there, going back to, yet again, America's Dom. When I go there telling you about these true crime cases, it's either going to be wacky, it's going to be horrific. This story, it matches up with all of what I just said, and it is the tale of Sarah Boone.
I don't think you all understand who I am, where...
Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight-A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son. I excel at everything.
And it is just... And by that I mean infuriating if that little sound effect didn't give it away.
Don't trick me down here.
I hope you are ready to meet one of the worst characters I've ever covered. She's a horrible liar, she's narcissistic, and it kind of all just like rounds into a big ol' shit sandwich. But boy is that sandwich delicious. So the emotions you will feel today will be bafflement, anger, and claustrophobia too. If you suffer from that, I'm sorry if you do, because one aspect of this case is very confining, and I don't like reviewing that part of it either. But we will, because we have to. Bafflement, though, was the main emotion I felt when I was researching into this case. And I'm an emotionless husk, so it's pretty up there. By the way, you might have noticed, I have finally escaped the black void I have been trapped in for the last 5 years, yeah. I also changed my backdrop. Alright, I covered a new filming setup, let's move on. So what we got here is good old gal Sarah Boone in the hot seat, sweating bullets.
And I was like, oh, he's in the suitcase still. And that's when
And whatever happened was clearly unintentional, am I
No
right? Because that is
emotion.
her favorite word to use. Unintentional. Unintentional.
Not intentional. It was not intentional. It's not malicious.
Game goes wrong.
Did you guys ever see that video of that little cute redhead kid who was using the word apparently a lot? And I know he went like on the Ellen DeGeneres show and all that. And it was a word that he had heard his grandfather using multiple times. So he's like, well, apparently, you know, this happened. And, well, did you want some ice cream? Well, apparently I got, you know, some ice cream. And apparently, and I know listening to this in the car, she uses unintentional, almost the way that young, you know, the cute little kid. Now he's like 13, 14, somewhere around there. But, the way he was using that word is the same way she uses unintentional.
Wrong. The footage, though, she took herself would kind of disagree with her statements. We'll get to it.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Really is a dumb move, though, on her part, to be fair. I mean, why would you record yourself doing something horrific to another person and you can hear, you know, the screams? Like, do you want that to pop up on your Apple memories or something? Like, oh, remember that. But what got her here? And what led to here? Well, for that, guys, we gotta go to Orange County, Florida. And also back a few years. Let's give it a go. Let's get into the Boone Goon. On the 24th of February 2020, at 1 minute past 1 p.m., a 911 call was made to the Orange County Sheriff's Department.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
4748 France Court, apartment 3.
The caller was a woman named Sarah Boone, and she was the aforementioned Boone Goon. Sarah was calling from an apartment she shared with her boyfriend George in France Court, Winter Park. And so that afternoon, sunny Florida, you know, get your tan on, Sarah was yapping away to the 911 operator. And, you know, she was pretty straight up with the reason she was calling today. She wasn't beating around the bush, you know, she was straight into it. She said, listen here, I've got something to tell you.
Is this a police or medical?
My boyfriend is dead.
Okay, send the line.
After directing the emergency responders to the correct apartment, she had to kind of explain, maybe just briefly, how did he come to be dead? Her explanation of her current circumstances was odd at best.
Now tell me exactly what happened there.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in his case and we were playing. And
Okay.
like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep and I woke up and he was dead in the suitcase. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
See, her and her fella had been fooling around, though not in the way you would think, even though they're grown-ups. No, not that sort of fooling around. Playing hide and seek, right? Okay, so she's like, well, you know, he got into the suitcase, I fell asleep, I woke up, he was a goner.
I don't know what happened.
Don't know what happened. Kinda sounds like you do, though.
Confirm this. Is he awake at all? Is he conscious at all?
No. He's purple.
Is he breathing?
No.
All right. I need you to get him on the floor, flat on his back for me, okay?
I did. I tried giving him CPR.
Put your hand on top of that hand.
Baby, I'm telling you. Just by looking at him, you can tell.
Okay.
Ah! Please! Okay, he just gurgled.
Okay.
So over the
So you did
following
CPR.
minutes, the 911 man tells her to try CPR, which she says she had already tried. She had removed him from the suitcase. And the way she explains it, that if she was trying CPR and how he looked, she'd be trying it for a while.
What happened? Like, what happened?
Other than that, she spends it trying to talk over the operator.
1,
We were playing hide
2,
and seek.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep on pumping for me, man.
I'm doing it. Believe me, I'm doing it, okay? We were playing
Okay.
hide and seek.
Eventually, the EMTs arrived and pretty chirpily announced there was nothing to be done.
When was the last time anybody saw him? The last night. We were playing hide and seek. He going to be split down too long. There's not going to be tickets for it.
Now that call was pretty grim, and from the sounds of it, it was a horrible accident, you know, just playing a game and things went wrong, and it happens. Tragically, it does happen around the world all the time. As Sarah said herself,
Right, okay.
Horrible. This is horrific.
right on. And, you know, you can imagine the guilt she's feeling, having a good time, playing a little game, and it ends like this. Sad as it is, it happens. People playing hide and seek found a great place. No, you didn't. Tragically, an 8-year-old boy was killed while playing hide and seek in his grandparents' house. He became wedged behind appliances, and he died. In India, a 16-year-old girl was the seeker, playing the game in an apartment building, and as she was looking for the hiders, she stuck her head into the elevator shaft to see if anyone was hiding there, at, well, the worst time imaginable. Or this story from Baltimore, 24-year-old Ernest Wilson III, he was playing hide and seek with a load of his friends during a party. They were at this place, having a few drinks, dancing, and then doing something for fun, playing hide and seek.
Ready or not, here I come!
Ernest, he was the seeker, and he Facebook lived while he was seeking. Then, while he was wandering around, he caught a burglar on camera trying and succeeding at breaking into the place.
Get your dumb ass on the other side of this gate. This can't be one of my friends.
Unfortunately, the burglar had a gun, and he used it on Ernest. Shit. So to give you a bit of background into who the key players are in this case, there's really just two, not counting the detectives, the deputies, and any other law enforcement buckaroo. So we get Sarah Boone, the Boone dog, and her boyfriend, Jorge Torres. Sarah, maiden name Paulson, her Facebook is pretty private. The profile picture is of a baby's eye. She does have a son, Lucas, and she had previously been married. In 2017, Brian Boone filed for divorce. She lost the ring, she kept the name, and she shared custody of their son. She was originally from Orlando. She graduated from Edgewater High School, and in 2020, she was 42 years of age. She had been in trouble with the law before, very just like minutely though. In the August of 2015, she was caught speeding. She was doing 54 and a 45 in her Kia. She had to pay a $129 fine for that, and she also had to do a 4-hour basic driver improvement course.
Oh my god.
And also
really?
in January 1998, when she went by Sarah Paulson, she got caught driving with a suspended license. George, now, by the way, his name is spelt the Spanish way, but it's pronounced the English way, so do not give me shit, commenters. The victim, he was also 42, from the city of Brotherly Love, PA. For work, he was the best employee Ace Hardware ever had, according to himself, though at the time of his death, he was unemployed. He had 3 daughters, also. So Sarah and George, they lived together in an apartment in Winter Park. It's a small city just northeast of Orlando. So Sarah, she was never too far from home. George had come quite a bit, and he still had a lot of family back in Philly. It was 4748 Franz Court that they called home together. Apartment number 3, right opposite one of those lakes Florida's got a shit ton of. Sarah and George had been together for about 3 years, about 3.5 years, by the time February 2020 kind of rolls around. Now, in Winter Park, the rate of crime is quite low. Pretty safe city. But the rate of this crime is exceedingly low worldwide. But, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Had a crime taken place? Sarah said what happened was a horrible accident. And I mean, how do you do that on I mean, you know, it sounds like an accident. After the 911 call, police arrived.
Would you do me a favor, pull one of these spots just so we can get out of it? It's signal 7, so it's going to be turned over to you guys.
Yep.
As you can see, the fire and EMTs were already there, but nothing was to be done. Sarah was there waiting for the responding officer.
Hello there. Hi. You live here? Yes. Okay, I'll talk to you. We gotta get some information from the fire department.
The property manager. I don't know if I should go tell him really quick, or just so he knows what's going on.
Where is he at?
He's walked that way.
Oh, don't worry about that. We'll take care of that for you, okay?
I really need something to drink.
Okay,
I got my Dr. Pepper on the counter.
Okay, we'll take care of you. Give me 1 second. What's going on? Who is he to you? Boyfriend?
Yes, for like 3.5 years.
What happened?
He and we drank last night and had a...
What Sarah told the responding officer was this.
I fell asleep.
When did you do CPR?
This morning when I found him.
Before you called?
Yes!
So the day before, Sunday, Sarah and George, they were chilling at the house, and then at one point George left. He left to go get some smokes, and that was about it. Sarah's son was not there with them that day. That evening, they were having a grand old time. They were doing some painting, they were doing some puzzles, playing a little bit of a jigsaw, and they opened together a bottle of Woodbridge Chardonnay. I don't know much about wine. Is that piss? Or they then decided to play hide and seek. She went upstairs. She hid in the shower. He didn't bother going to search for her. So eventually she came down being like, what the fuck? Thought we were playing. And at that point, they thought it would be funny if George got into a suitcase. Now, they already had a suitcase there, like in the room. It was basically they were going to give a load of stuff to charity, and they were going to put it in the suitcase. But George willingly got into the suitcase, and then Sarah zipped him up. She said neither her nor George were drunk at all. They had shared one bottle of wine between the two of them.
At some point, you put him in the suitcase?
No, he got in the suitcase. So
Okay.
he thought it would be funny to be put in the suitcase. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to joke with you and I'll zip you up and make him, squirm a little bit, whatever it is. But then I fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
I fell asleep.
Where you zipped him in there?
Yes.
Thought it would be funny, a little
It
joke.
was. We both were laughing about it.
Okay.
And then I fell asleep
Where did you fall asleep at?
upstairs.
In your bedroom?
Yes.
Okay.
Totally forgetting that he was in the suitcase still.
Okay.
And I was like,
Oh my God, what?
I forgot he was in the suitcase.
Then after midnight,
No
at about
tears, no
12:30,
nothing.
Sarah said she was tired. She
excuse
went
me, no
up
anything.
to bed, and she left him there, though, in the suitcase. She figured, though, that he would be able to get out. He'd be able to get out himself. She lay in bed for about 20-30 minutes, then she fell asleep. He was not able to get out. She then woke up at about 11 p.m. She lay in bed for about an hour. She got up at about 12, half 12. She walked downstairs. He was not looking well.
I was awake, but I actually got out of the bed at like 12:30ish, whatever. So I came downstairs, and I was like, oh, he's in the suitcase still. And that's when I found him, and I took him out, and I tried doing CPR, and then I called him, and then I called you guys. So I don't know if he had a heart attack or what in there. Like, I don't know what happened.
Probably a lot for you to deal with, right?
Brian had arrived. Her ex-husband, he lived just around the corner, essentially, because Sarah was due to collect their son from the ex-husband, and he gave Sarah his phone to call 911, and here we are. So this is where the story of Sarah Boone and Jorge Torres starts to kind of writhe and wriggle around a little bit. Zipping someone into a suitcase, a fully grown adult to boot, sounds quite difficult. I mean, I, for instance, would not get into a suitcase and have somebody zip me up, and I'm not even terribly claustrophobic. But then she left him in there, saying, sure, be grand. How? How was she expecting him to get out?
All we had was a bottle of wine. Literally, just a bottle of wine.
Okay.
Doing puzzle artwork. Then we decided to play hide and seek. That's all that happened.
Okay.
She also said that when she went to bed, it took her approximately 20 to 30 minutes of her lying in bed, reading, tossing and turning, whatever, before she fell asleep. And at no point did she think, he's been in there a while, maybe I should go down? He'd be fine. At least she knew where he was. Towards the end, though, of those initial statements Sarah was telling to the first police responders and detectives, things could get even worse for Sarah, according to herself. Could it? Yes.
It's gonna be I'm afraid for my life. I want you to know that. I am afraid for my life. His family has never liked me. I'm the blue-eyed white devil, what they call me. So they've never liked me.
I could relate with you, but the other way around, because I was actually the one where I guess he'd be uncle-in-law, asks my mother-in-law when I was on the other side of the garage when they couldn't see me, and they came walking outside together and asked her, so how do you feel about your daughter? And said my ex-wife's name. How do you feel about your daughter marrying a wetback? And I'm like, I tried not to let out this big laugh. And then the next day, the motherfucker's like trying to get me to drive his Mercedes. And I'm like, dude, I worked in the music industry. Do you think driving your Mercedes is like, so cool that, you know, I'm just so stoked to drive your shitty Mercedes. You know, 2002 and this is 2012. I mean, all right, yeah, like, yay, ooh, how cool, fun. Piece of shits.
They've never taken me in. They've never accepted me. I'll put it that way. They're going to kill me.
In the way that she thinks. By the way, she keeps asking for water when the police show up, and in an almost comical way. It's actually kind of funny how thirsty she keeps claiming she is.
Yeah, my Dr. Pepper. I am so caught now.
Somebody else on there call a break and
It's on the counter.
One
I'm
Bravo,
so thirsty. Like, I need water. Just water. Please, I need water.
But
I need water really bad.
So the police, they spoke with her, and they also spoke with Brian, who, as I said, he had arrived that day, and he was waiting for the police with Sarah. And this is once again where the story starts to change a little bit.
But, like, I don't, like, this was totally, like, not intentional. Like, that's what I'm scared about, too. Like,
we'll have all the answers. We'll have a lot more.
It starts to focus in on what was really going on here, I would say. He says, you know, he had their son, he had arrived, Sarah was supposed to pick him up, he didn't see anything, but he did say Sarah and George had a very, very interesting history together.
Got a whole fun history.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, you guys just called over and like.
For the two of them?
Yeah, he's been arrested like 5 times. So.
Really? Okay. I'm not familiar with it.
So,
I haven't been here personally. So they have
he's currently on parole because of it. So
because of domestic violence with her.
yes, but I mean, like every time she had him arrested, the next day she was trying to get bailed out too. So.
According to the neighbors police would speak with, Sarah was almost never not drunk. You know, a lot of people enjoy a few sups now and then, as you go on, she may as well, but Sarah loved nothing more than a few sups all the time. They would say she was almost always either A, tired, meaning hungover, or B, tweaked out on something, which is either high or drunk. Sarah had before, she had passed out on neighbors' porches, she'd be wandering around the streets at all hours. Neighbors would hear banging on the walls of her and George's apartment. They would see her out pretty regularly, and neighbors thought that was her attempt. Sarah just didn't want to be in that apartment, presumably with George. And the next door neighbor would share something that is super interesting about the night of. The neighbor's bedroom, it shared a wall with Sarah and George's apartment, and he says that on the Sunday night, the night they were playing hide and seek, he heard at about 10:30, 11 p.m. a loud crash coming from their place. He said the crash came from the staircase area of their home.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not suspicious.
Do you recall hearing anything coming from apartment 3 while you were, after you had gotten home?
Around 10:30 or 11 o'clock, there was a very loud crashing sound where I believe, I'm not sure, I haven't been in their apartment like my roommate, but I believe is the location of the staircase.
Okay, so
a little bit above.
A very loud, you said crashing sound?
Yeah, like it sounded like something had been like falling down the stairs. Because it started up high and then it ended low.
Okay. And when you heard the loud crashing sound, did you hear any voices? Like, could you make out if you heard a male or female's voice?
I couldn't hear anything, no.
Okay.
So likely, something was fucked down the stairs that was heavy. And what do we have in this case that was heavy? The amount of shit coming out of Sarah's mouth, that's what. But also a suitcase.
It seemed like an abusive relationship. Just from every time I heard them, every time like I saw the two of them, it seemed rough.
Okay.
Well, you're not wrong there, and I got the Popo 50 reports to prove it for you. So you can watch and I'll take you through them. The neighbor had said it, Brian Boone had said it, and now I'll say it. The first report, police report, about Sarah or George, it goes back to 2018, which would have been about a year and a half into their relationship. which is, as we see in a lot of true crime cases or just domestic violence cases, that's about mask off time.
Yep.
On the 25th of July 2018, police were called to that very same apartment on Franz Court. In the documents, they keep referring to it, and the police keep referring to it, as Franz Lane. It's not. The people who live there are to keep correcting them. It's Franz Court. So the police arrived to Sarah and George's apartment shortly before 2 a.m. And to cut a long story short, Sarah said essentially that George was beating the ever-living shite out of her. He'd beaten 7 shades of shite out of her and then strangled her. She told the police that she had been at a bar that evening. She had asked some random guy for a smoke, and George was not too keen on that at all, I'm afraid. She said he became upset and he left the bar. When she got back, an argument ensued and she was dragged upstairs and he kicked her in the eye. But George told the police that she had tried to strangle him and he had kicked Sarah to get her off him. In the eye. Fucking acrobatic. Now the report states that George's neck was red, like he had been strangled, and Sarah's eye was swollen, like she had been kicked. So what we got here are 2 drunk assholes beating the shite out of each other. They were both arrested, they were booked for battery, the case wasn't prosecuted.
Okay, I paused it. You know, I don't try to be edgy in any kind of way, but a life could have been saved. 2 lives could have been saved. Now, none of us were there, but we sure as shit got a lot, and I mean a lot of coverage on that Gabby Patel and Brian Laundrie guy. I mean, that's the most coverage I've ever seen for a domestic violence case in my life. And I don't know why. It's from my understanding, I mean, she wasn't the biggest influencer on any of the social media platforms. Yeah. You know, here, I don't know what the protocol is, if they're supposed to take him to jail or not. But why the fuck didn't they take either one of those 2 to jail? They said that guy, Brian Laundrie, whatever, had a shitload of cuts and freaking marks all over him, and she didn't. But, you know, who knows? Did they even, like, come up with a determining factor on how she was, you know, terminated? Because I know they did with, you know, his self-termination. But either way, it could have saved 2 lives. And they're doing it here with these 2 shitheads. I think the thing that bothered a lot of people outside of, you know, that community was, why hasn't there been this much attention paid on other, you know, individuals who have been stuck in similar situations, you know, having basically the whole country, you know, on high alert for this, you know, little girl who I just car a little because of her size and everything, but I know she was like, what, 18, 19? But I mean, she's still a young adult, very young adult. And it just seemed like so much was just placed on her and this guy that is like unbelievable. But I don't know. Like, I really, really think that instead of just separating them, they should have scared the shit out of them and put them both, in jail. Waited till their parents bonded them out, and then who knows what would have happened, because I know they lived together. So she would have probably had to move back with her parents, because I guess whenever you have a domestic violence, you're not supposed to live with each other, but it sounds like these two shitheads lived with each other for, I think I remember why, and I don't want to give it away from when I was listening to it earlier, but yeah, let's get back to it.
So about a year later, at 5 p.m. on the 15th of June, police were called to that very same apartment yet again. Called, she said George had beaten the crap out of her. She said, quote, she was beaten up, face, head, legs and arms, and that when she begged George to stop, he said, you are going to die. Again, she said this was due to her speaking to another man, and George was not too keen on that at all. Possessive, I guess, is what she was saying. She did just have one lump on her head, but, I mean, I suppose that doesn't really matter. George, he was arrested and charged with domestic violence. Sarah did press charges this time, but the court didn't kind of follow through. They didn't think there was enough there, and the case wasn't prosecuted. Now, after the police went to that house for the domestic on the 15th of June, 3 days later, the police were called yet again. Sarah was now claiming she was now claiming credit card fraud, that George was using her credit card, without her knowledge. But she did not wish to press charges, so. Then, 1 month later, on the 28th of August, the police were called yet again by Sarah. There's still a good few more of these. This time she says she was sleeping when he barged in and started kicking the shit out of her. She said she was fed up being hit. She did have marks and bruises. But when they spoke with him, so did George. He said that she beat the shit out of him all the time, and what was he supposed to do, if she was hitting him? This is... What's the best way of putting this? Even cyanide would call this relationship toxic. And then, shockingly, in September 2019, the police showed up to that house in Fran's Court yet again. So this relationship was a big, whole, steaming heap on both sides, I think. They were somewhat violent, on both sides. Or at the very least, I think both of them could give as good as they got. And they were both drunk, all the time. But still, they stayed together. Bad idea. I've been covering true crime cases for quite some time, and put on your shocked face, because these things generally do not get better. It's like trying to put out fire with fire, and then being surprised your house burns down. Which is exactly what happened in February 2020 when George got into a suitcase and he never got out. Slowly suffocating to death inside. It's hard to think of a more horrific way to go. It's like nightmare fuel.
I totally forgot that he was in the suitcase. He can tell you there's a lot of things that we think of. Jobs.
Yeah, he did tell me.
Life, all that good stuff. So, can I have a cigarette, please?
Ma'am, I can't take anything out of the house.
It's on the back porch.
Nope, all of it. It's secure, okay?
This was totally, not intentional. That's what I'm scared about, too.
On the 25th of February, George underwent an autopsy, and he had injuries. Long scratches on his mid to upper back, a large scratch on the back of his neck, bruises on his left shoulder, left side of his face, and forehead. If he was in a suitcase that went down the stairs as the neighbor heard something like that, well, that's that. He also had a split lip. The official cause of death was asphyxiation. So the same day as that autopsy, the police brought Sarah in for a follow-up interview.
I'm gonna have you sit in the green chair. It doesn't move. Appreciate you coming in.
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask you about these whenever we have a moment.
Sure. So obviously, he received his autopsy. So I'm going to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that. And since I'm talking about the incident, We just have to do it, just like we did
Normal
yesterday.
protocol?
Just like we did yesterday. Remember I read you the rights? Yeah. Yeah, so it's the exact same thing, but since I'm asking you, this morning we went to his autopsy, and we were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So I want, so he's got scratch marks to his back.
I know what that's from.
Okay. And it's called a contusion. Do you know what a contusion is? So like basically you're getting hit and then you get a mark from it. You'll get bruising. Like someone hit you or something like that. It's called a contusion. What about the scratches? Because there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't laid a hand on him.
Okay.
I have not touched him. I have not touched him.
Then how would you get those injuries?
Tell me and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
They talked about the marks on his body, the abuse between the two of them, and Sarah this time, though. She was very defensive of George. He was too good for this world.
And he was trying. He was really trying.
Jesus.
And then he starts to think about things, and I think he gets overwhelmed, and then it's like, the next thing I know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is going to go, so I'm going to go upstairs and read a book, or I'm going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to do something else, where I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do.
Enough of alimony.
He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself.
He has to go get more alcohol.
And you know what? You ask me, and I'm asking me. Sarah, she was a goddamn national hero.
I miss him a lot, and I didn't even sleep last night. I miss him a lot.
I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him and
I never stopped.
trying to...
I never stopped. That's what I'm here for. I never stopped. I'm here now because I'm still trying to help him.
Leave Sarah alone.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this for free. She excelled at everything.
I don't think you all understand who I am.
Okay. Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight-A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son.
Okay.
I excel at everything.
What that has to do with her current situation, I do not know, because she's clearly not excelling, at this point in time, so maybe you scratched it off your resume. Now cracks had begun to form in Sarah's story of how much alcohol she had, during the night of. Initially, she said she had half a bottle. And then the next day she had said she was kind of drunk and passed out. And then she was saying, actually, no, I just had a couple of glasses, nothing major. Because as she says, she wants to keep her compass menti is the phrase she always uses, or just wants to keep her wits about her.
You're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions, and you're like a little defensive, like, no, we're not alcoholics.
I'm not.
We are not, But you guys were both sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out, I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it? Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and it got physical?
No.
Or is it...
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time.
Then she changes that. Well, you'll look forward to that.
We just don't, it's unexplainable how he got these injuries, and
I have no idea.
You were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God. I have no idea how he got them.
You had mentioned that you would take photos, videos. Have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay.
Why do you say it like that, though?
I would never do that.
Okay, so
Excuse me,
do you remember making any videos or maybe having any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday? No.
See, the police had discovered something on Sarah's phone when they got it off her. Sarah, she had an iPhone XS. She gave the police both written and verbal consent to download all the, the data on her phone to have a good old goo about it, you know what I mean? Not sure why she did so, because this would prove to be a very bad idea for Sarah Boone. 2 videos were discovered on Sarah's phone. One was about 2 minutes long, the other was about 20 seconds long. Here's a portion of the first video. I won't show you much because honestly it makes me sick thinking about what George was going through at that moment in time, but I mean, I'm telling you this story, so I guess I kind of got to show you.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it up.
Sarah. I can't fucking breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you do and you choke me.
Holy shit. I don't remember that at all. Like I said, I wasn't able to, really... Yo, whoa. What a fucking idiot. She excels at everything? Well, she's right about that. She excels at being a fucking moron.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
11:12 p.m.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it up.
Sarah. I can't fucking breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you do and you choke me.
The suitcase is upside down too, so it would have been impossible for him to get out unless it was flipped over. Well, she said she only had half a bottle. It sounds like she had a metric shit ton more than that. She's a spewing crocs of shite. Here's the second video. It was taken 11 minutes after the first one, so how long George was inside that suitcase, we're not sure. But yeah, in the second video you can see the suitcase has been moved.
Is that her son? Or who the fuck? Wasn't the son with the father? Who the fuck is that with her?
So clearly this was no accident, what happened to George. He was begging to be let out of the suitcase, and she was laughing. I guess he got in willingly, as part of the game. She zipped it up very securely and would not let him out as he slowly suffocated to death, and she was having a grand old time, sipping on wine and watching it like it's TV. Horrible way to go, made even worse when she, at some point, must have dragged the suitcase over to the stairs. I mean, you see George, he seems like a pretty small, skinny guy, so I guess he wouldn't have been that heavy. And at one point, she throws the suitcase down the stairs if what the neighbor said was true. And that would make sense with the injuries he had. The first video was taken at 11:12 p.m. The second, 11:23 p.m. The neighbor heard the crash between 10:30 and 11. So she probably had him in that suitcase for some time. She got in, she trimmed down the stairs, and then she took this video. These videos. Now in the video, he's very calm. He's not screaming at her, he's not shouting at her. I think he's really just trying to talk her off a ledge. He knows what she's doing, and he's like trying to not push her and be like, hey, joke's over, huh? She just cursed him out. So, the police had these. Sarah did not know that. I don't know, she must have forgotten. Maybe she was really, really drunk and she simply forgot she took the videos. So what did Sarah herself think when the police showed them to her? Sarah.
Any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday? No? So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone. Can you see it?
At this point, she's probably like, "Oh no, that was definitely like Meryl Streep, you know, and fucking George Clooney was in the bag, and you know, like that definitely wasn't like, you know, me and him, like, no, that wasn't us."
If you need to move it around, go ahead.
Sarah.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shut it up. And you said it.
You guys
were...
are scaring me.
Why?
We just want you to...
Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No.
You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end, it sounds kind of like a...
No, it's not malicious.
Stupid.
Well, saying fuck you,
It's not malicious.
then what is that?
What does fuck you mean to you?
Well,
Yikes. She did not have what I would say is a great answer to that.
You know what's on that video now?
No.
You remember making that video?
no.
Why don't you remember making the video?
Probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk.
No.
Oh,
Doesn't
You
mean
told us
that you...
several times that you were not drunk. You said that you had your wits about you. You said he had his wits about you.
My intention was not to leave him in there.
She said it was unintentional. She could easily unzip it from the outside, so she assumed he could from the inside. She was drunk, and well, you know, she didn't mean to, so... What more do you want from me?
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him? Maybe I shouldn't?
No.
You wouldn't lock somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And then she takes the tactic of okay, I hear you. Alright, shut up for a second, will you? Think about it this way.
If you don't mind, please. So you all are assuming that it's like, oh good, I got him in there, now I'm going to go to sleep? Is that what you all are assuming? Please do not assume.
What, you think I just locked him in the suitcase and left him in there? What you been smoking? Check your assumptions, you fucking pig.
Well, it's not an assumption when that's what you told us that happened.
I fucking love Mike.
What, you think I just locked...
Is that what you all are assuming? Please do not assume.
What, you think I just locked him in the suitcase and left him in there? What you been smoking? Check your assumptions, you fucking pig.
Well, it's not an assumption when that's what you told us that happened.
That's what happened.
And the video...
Yeah,
I mean...
But I'm not going to say...
You thought he could
Goes
get out
off.
on his
Yes.
But the video shows that he cannot get out on his own.
I did not zip it up all the way.
Sarah is the real victim here, guys. It was not intentional.
This is horrific, okay? Horrific.
It is terrible.
Yeah,
Horrific. I don't think I'll ever be right because of this. Ever be right.
I wouldn't
Dealing
believe that
with
after
everything
killing
else
someone.
that I have in my life, personally. And then this,
Okay.
whom I loved,
Yeah, that's love.
it was not intentional. I will put my hand on the Bible. It was not intentional. I would not do that to him nor anyone else.
But you did.
Not intentional.
What is so hard to understand? Not intentional.
He asked multiple times. He asked to be let out. I can't breathe. Why didn't you let him out?
Well, number one, I had no idea it was going to end like that.
Okay.
Number
Yeah,
one.
You're not answering the question, you fucking
Number two, just, you know what? I'll give you 5 minutes or so in there. I'll give you 5 minutes or so.
Oh, there you're playing hide and seek.
Well, based off the video, one video is at 11:12 and the next one's at 11:23. So you actually gave him at least 11 minutes per video recording.
See, and then it's all backfired on me. Like, it's all backfired on me. And I understand the severity of this. I just...
Yeah, he's dead.
It's awful, I know.
Okay.
It's awful. And I will tell you both this right now, too. I will never drink alcohol again.
Okay.
She's taking this so seriously, guys. She's not going to drink anymore. That's how seriously she's taking it. No more booze for me after this one.
And it's not fair. It is not fair. You guys are trying to, again, oh, he's in there. Night, night.
That's what happened.
No.
That's absolutely what happened.
Intentionally. I don't know what you all want me to tell you.
Your dumbass
Like,
recorded
this
it,
is
stupid
not
idiot.
fair at all,
Yes.
that you all are assuming that that's from me.
Where else did it come
If
from?
you were, say it's opposite, you were in the suitcase and you're asking to be let out, would you hope that that person would let you out? Like, you're asking to be let out of a suitcase, should they not let you out?
Eventually. I'm guessing. I mean, I'm blaming it on the wine.
Blaming on the wine.
She speaks to the police like they're her parents and she just had a house party and trashed the place. The wine made me do it. Blame the wine.
Alcohol is a shitty thing. It's alcohol.
Arrest the bottle, go on.
You all,
Please sit down.
listen to me.
Please sit down.
You all, listen. I did not intentionally kill him.
It's like by saying not intentionally, like you're absolving yourself of all wrongdoing. And that's what she's doing. Not intentionally. No, I didn't intentionally point the gun at him and, like freaking, unloaded a clip. I didn't intentionally, run his ass over, and reversed and then, put it back in drive and reversed again. I didn't, intentionally take a knife and go at it like, 250 times. That wasn't intentional. Yes, that makes you completely innocent. I know, like, and I asked this question before, and nobody ever, told me, and I'm so badly wanting, like, somebody who studies law, or, as a lawyer, or becoming a lawyer, to tell me if this is legal to say. But I had went for a ticket, and there was a case in front of us, and I can't remember what it was about, but it was for speeding, and she tells the two people ahead of us, how does she say it? If either one of you plead the fifth, I'll take that as an admission of guilt. Can they do that? Can a judge do that? Or is that a violation of your constitutional rights? I know it's digressing a little bit from this, but I just want to know, can a judge actually do that and say that and actually get away with that? I wanted to know.
It's not cool. Like, this is not cool.
It's not cool.
He's
dead. It's
but
not
you
cool.
think...
She really does not believe she's about to be arrested, or what she did is really that serious at all.
What do I need to, do I need to be doing something, or,
I can't tell you, what to do.
I mean, for...
You're not going to have a cigarette.
I don't understand, I don't know if you guys are just gonna, because it makes it sound like, to me, I'm being accused of something that was not intentional. I'm being accused of it. And a handful of other things that I'm being accused of.
I wish Mike would have had a
I'm not admitting anything about being intentional and I killed George. That's not the situation, but it's trying to be pinned on me.
Okay.
That was not my intent.
For everything you've done to me.
But it's trying to be pinned on me. So however or whatever it is I need to do in order for that to be proven, then I need to do so. Which
This
is
is
why
like
I'm
the
trying
most
to get my ducks in
open
a
and
row.
shut case ever.
So that's why I'm asking what the next step is other than me getting my nails swabbed.
I mean, you want me to tell you how to not be accused of a crime? Is that what you're asking? Like, I don't know what you
I'm
want.
trying to prepare myself for whatever may need to be done so I can, I guess, stick up for myself.
You're not leaving that room.
Just fine.
Or that.
And again, if you don't mind me asking, so for whatever it is you all are claiming from the videos, which, yeah, it's...
Fuck you.
Jesus Christ. I
Is
shouldn't
that
be
what you're
laughing.
going to tell him? Like, his parents? It's like, oh, yeah, and by the way, she did.
Did what?
I get it. Look, I get it. That looks really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what scares me. Like, what do I need to plan on? Like, what do I need to plan on? I promise you, on my son's life.
Yo, I fucking hate when I hear that shit. Again, I'm digressing, but I'm going back to some. Do you guys remember that movie called The Box? I don't remember it fully because I watched it with my ex, and like I'd always get up and down and like fucking go, you know, whatever, smoke a cigarette, just 'cause I say like, oh, I'm really, really, really stressed. But where I believe the premise is they are given the choice of making this grandiose wish come true, but somebody, anybody in the world could die if you do this. And at the end, it was their child. And I was like, yo, that is fucked up. That's like one of the first things I would be asking, like, and they probably, and like, you know, the stranger probably wouldn't tell me, like, is it anybody in my family? No. Okay, I'm down. Let's do it. You know, because all the people that were like quote unquote friends, you know, were pretty shitty. So if, like, you know, if it's one of them, then that's cool. No, that's not cool. I shouldn't say that. But like, if it meant like, you know, your family's gonna be taken care of for the rest of their life, like the Powerball winner guy or girl. Okay, cool. You know, something like that. But to be putting something on your child's life when the film is right fucking there. Idiot.
It was not intentional. I promise you. On Lucas's life, it was not intentional.
I don't know you. I can't say I know anything about you. I don't know what would be a true statement, what would not. I mean, you're promising on your son's life, that's fine.
She tells him her plans and what she's about to do, and well, guys, shit happens. I'll see you at the bar.
Okay, Sarah. So, you're not free to go. Okay. Oh, do you promise everything you told us was the truth? Or no? Everything we've talked about today?
Yes. What do you mean?
I need you to turn around, face the wall, put your hands behind your back. Do you have anything in your pockets that I should know about?
No.
Okay.
Why is this happening?
Because George is dead.
Not intentionally.
We understand that.
He's still dead. Your response to everything was basically, I didn't do it.
Intentionally.
Doesn't matter. He's still dead.
Oh my God. I shouldn't be laughing, but that is
Have a
just...
seat.
Really, guys?
Really?
Oh no, we're just joking around.
I had a
don't work
sneaky
in there.
suspicion this was going to happen. And I need water, like, really bad, please.
Have a seat.
You all tricked me down here.
Absolutely did not. We were trying to figure out what's going on. We're still trying to figure out what's going on.
Unintentionally.
Intentional or not, George is dead. You act like when you say unintentionally, that absolves you from everything.
What made you all decide to do this?
Made us decide to do this?
Uh-huh.
George is dead.
I'm really not sure if she did mean to do what she did. She was drunk, and it was an extremely toxic relationship with physical violence on both sides that was going to lead to this eventually. I would say that she was shocked at what happened when she woke up. I mean, she just sounded absolutely pissed in the video. She probably woke up not really realizing what had happened. Hungover to shit, probably, too, which would explain why she keeps asking for water when the police arrived.
Water? Just water. Please, I need water.
But,
I need water really bad.
And that it probably was a stupid drunken mistake, but I imagine her initial reaction was, oh crap, followed by, oh well. Sarah Boone was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Sarah Boone pleaded not guilty.
This whole suitcase thing never happened before.
Would you leave someone else in a suitcase? Would you leave Lucas in a suitcase jokingly? Because it was a
No.
joking matter. You put him in there jokingly. Would you leave Lucas jokingly in there? And you love Lucas, right? And you
I
love
wouldn't do
George.
that to him either. I wouldn't do that to him.
This picture from Sarah Boone's Facebook page of a child appearing to be playfully zipped into a suitcase.
Okay, it was a guy, but still, she's taking pictures of it, so she thinks it's funny.
So this was in February 2020. There have been many delays since then.
Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Sarah Boone.
42-year-old Sarah Boone faced a judge Wednesday morning charged with second-degree murder. Detectives say she left her boyfriend, 42-year-old Jorge Torres Jr., in a suitcase in their Winter Park apartment to die. Based on the evidence in the case,
the autopsy findings, which include significant evidence of trauma to multiple sites on the victim's body,
the state asked for no bond. The judge agreed. According to the arrest report, Boone told Orange County deputies she and her boyfriend were playing hide and seek when they thought it would be funny if he got into the suitcase. She says she zipped him inside. Hours later on Monday afternoon, deputies say Boone called 911 saying Torres was dead.
In fact, you guys, I wanted to cover the story of Sarah Boone for quite some time. And every time I would look, I'd be like, oh, hey, the trial's coming up soon. I'll just wait till then, till when the trial is over. And it's been delayed a shitload of times. So here I am just making the video now. Still waiting. The trial has been cancelled 6 times, my dudes. There has been 1 million defense recusals, which I don't blame those attorneys at all. Who the shit would want to work with Sarah Boone? Here's a letter she wrote to one of her attorneys. It's pretty pathetic. And it's basically just like, why won't you talk to me? This was in early October. I am writing in regards to not hearing from you and am becoming very concerned after receiving no response to any of my daily calls or from the letters I've sent. With no communication makes my end more difficult, drawn out, and painful. Please figure out whatever necessary for my phone calls to be answered, which you will be reimbursed for when you submit your costs. You are my 6th attorney, not by choice, and the magnitude of my case with not knowing what's going on or where you are, how much harder it is for me. Note 2, I am patient. Clearly, after all the time already invested. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
She's in jail and she's calling that invested time. And she's being patient. In jail. I am patient and still smiling and willing to go above and beyond whatever we need to do to properly and truthfully convey my very convoluted, misunderstood side of everything, which I boldly told you in our meeting last month. God has put us in each other's paths for a reason, and I can't wait to see what you and he will do. I'm praying the 6 times the charm. Please respond. The trial is now actually due to begin at the end of January 2023. Let's see if it actually will. That's from when I'm posting this video, 3 months. So look forward to that. It's like the next Star Wars movie, but who knows. And that is the end of this old video, my friends. I hope you enjoyed it. As you probably know, I'm going to a 1 video a week schedule. It might not even be Tuesdays and Fridays. It'll just be whenever the video's done.
Make it Friday.
But it just means I can spend more time per video and make videos bigger and better, which I'm very, very excited for, because there's often cases I just want to really delve into. And now I can. So, yeah, I'm pretty psyched about that. I hope you are too. But as I said, there's also some more of that chapter coming along the way. But I'll tell you more later. Thank you as always for the just amazing support. I would not be here without each and every one of you, and I don't think I'll ever be able to thank you guys enough for the love and support I've gotten, and I hope you enjoy the future That Chapter stuff to come. There's a lot. As I've showed you guys before, my little book of all the things I want to make videos about, there's a good few, I would say. By that I mean hundreds. But anyway, I will see you as always real soon in the next old video, which will be coming soon. So, take care of yourselves until then, because you know what? I love you. Mike out.
He's the man. You know what? I'm gonna write something since I'm here. Just fill. Is that one word? Tenfold? I think it is. I don't know. I'll just put love the video. Mike is just funny as hell. Go show him some love, like I always say. I mean, he just he kills it, man. Great video, great content, like always. I mean, he honestly, like, how can I say this? He has a standard that he wanted to meet, and to me, he met those standards easily. And I think they're just going to even be so much more better than what he's already doing. I can't even really, I mean, is that possible? You know? But yeah, he works his ass off putting 2 videos together every week. Like, I can't expect anybody to do that. I mean, any one of us who do reaction videos aren't putting the work in like that. And like I said, come March, when I decide to really start creating my own content, getting out there, doing the videos like I want to do, it's going to be hard to put out as many videos a week as I do. So, yeah, I mean, Mike, another killer video, man. Keep it up. Huge fan. Everybody here who's watched your videos, clearly I always direct them to you. Clearly I've had, which I basically told the fans tonight for the first time, I'm a fellow Irishman. I just found this out when I kind of got tricked into doing it. My ex before my ex, my first relationship after my ex-wife, she tricked me. She's like, do you want a new awesome, GPS, cell phone, iWatch, or do you want to get an ancestry test? And I'm like, that is so unfair to be asking. Ancestry test, that would be so awesome. You know, it actually was pretty cool. Except it had one downside. I'm not going to say it live just in case, you know, they watch. But there's shitheads out there. Let's just say that. So yeah, I did the ancestry test and come to find out, I am Hispanic, I am Irish, Scottish, and Welsh. And then my dad's side of the family has African and Puerto Rican in them. And so I am what you would call a straight up Mexican. So, yeah. He's a fellow Irishman, and I'm glad that one of my other fellow Irishmen was happy that I left him such good, you know, reviews and said, and now I'm, you know, a subscriber of yours. So thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who subscribes to my channel. Again, I always want to mention this. I don't ask, you know, for people to subscribe all the time. I don't ask for, you know, follow me here, do this, do that. But I did at the behest of a lot of subscribers. I'm sorry, I was writing this thing, and I don't know if I want to send it or not, just because, you know, it's political. Okay, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Okay. So anyways, I'm sorry. But I really didn't have social media set up. And so I decided, well, what the hell? Well, let's start getting it set up. So I do this all the time. I still don't know it by name. But on Twitter, you could find me at Francisco, R as in Robert, Z as in Zebra, capitalized I, 3 times. So Francisco RZ the third. Of course, my dad's the first. I have essentially a twin brother, and then me. And then let me look on Instagram. On Instagram, it's Cisco. That's C as in cat, I, S as in Sam, CO, 213RZ. 213 is my birthday, February 13th. RZ. Just because the letters look cool. R as in Robert, Z as in Zebra. So, yeah, go in and give me a follow. I had posts, just stupid stuff here and there. I did pick up another acting gig, which is awesome. So I had put together a funny skit, a skit that I think is hilarious, to be honest with you, because spur of the moment, it just kind of shows you how, you know, acting can just bring out the funniness in people, especially when it's spur of the moment. Because like I said, I wasn't planning the skit. I wasn't sitting there like, I wonder what I could do that would be funny and make, oh yeah, I'll do this. No, it was like, holy shit, cool, I just got another acting gig. And boom, hung up the phone, and I'm like, oh, I gotta do this. This is gonna sound funny. Did it. I absolutely liked the way it came out. And not looking for accolades. I'm not looking for people to say like, oh yeah, you know, you're a pretty good actor, or, you know, looking for people to be like, oh, you fucking suck. You know, whatever your opinions are, they're your opinions. But hey, I have fun doing little things like that. Of course, when you prepare for a role or something, you're not just like spur of the moment, like, you know, on Tropic Thunder. I don't read the script. The script reads me. It's like, what? So, yeah. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. And how can you go wrong with that chapter video? But until next time, I'll be seeing you guys real soon. Peace. This way. Peace.